So, we got our ending. Was it enough? A deep dive into the Summer I Turned Pretty finale. Let's be honest. For the past few weeks, our group chats have had one central, all-consuming topic. Our algorithms have been flooded with fan edits set to Taylor Swift. Our hearts have been collectively held in a chokehold by 3 teenagers at a fictional beach house. The much-anticipated series finale of Jenny Han's The Summer I Turned Pretty dropped, and the silence that followed the rolling credits felt heavy. It was the kind of quiet that comes after a storm, leaving you to survey the emotional wreckage and wonder, what now? I had a whole ritual planned. My partner, 2 of our best friends, a bottle of wine that felt appropriately dramatic, and a strict no-phones policy. The 4 of us, a small focus group of queer millennial women, were about to become ridiculously invested in the romantic tribulations of a decidedly heterosexual Gen Z love triangle. And we were ready for the emotional whiplash. We'd been waiting for this. We debated, argued, and passionately defended our chosen Fisher boy all season. Now, it was time for the final verdict. So, was it worth the wait? And how are we supposed to process this ending, this beautiful, heart-wrenching, slightly frustrating resolution, especially with the bombshell news that a feature film is on its way? The announcement, dropped at the show's finale celebration in Paris, felt like both a gift and a little bit of a tease. Just as we were saying goodbye, Jenny Han was whispering, "Not just yet. There is another big milestone left in Belly's journey, and I thought only a movie could give it its proper due," Han revealed, confirming she would be penning the script herself. "I'm so grateful to Prime Video for continuing to support my vision for this story and for making it possible to share this final chapter with the fans." A final chapter? After this finale? My heart did a little flip-flop of excitement and exhaustion. But first, we had to get through this sprawling, 80-minute goodbye to Belly, the luminous Lola Tongue, Jeremiah, the golden boy Gavin Cosalegno, Conrad, the king of brooding, Christopher Briney, and, of course, Conrad's ever-present, emotionally significant watch. Those who have clung to the books like a life raft, the endgame was always clear. The epilogue of the 3rd book sees Belly and Conrad, years later, finding their way back to each other. It's the stuff of classic romance. But Jenny Han, as the show's creator, had been dropping hints for months that the series might carve its own path. With an extended trip to Paris for Belly, the introduction of a suave potential new love interest named Benito, Fernando Cattori, and the ghost of Junior Mint lingering in the background, absolutely anything felt possible. The stakes had never been higher. The Parisian dream and the ghost of Summer's past. The episode kicks off, and we're immediately thrown into Belly's new life. Or should I say, Isabelle's life. She's in Paris, she's turning 22, and she's radiating a newfound confidence. The girl who once measured her life in summers at Cousins Beach now sports a chic haircut, bold red lipstick, and heels that click with purpose on cobblestone streets. This isn't the same girl we met in Season 1. This is a woman who has lived, lost, and is trying desperately to build something that is entirely her own, away from the gravitational pull of the Fisher brothers. And then, just as she's finding her footing, the past walks right back in. Conrad, in a grand romantic gesture that is both swoon-worthy and deeply chaotic, has spent a small fortune to change his flight and land in Paris on the eve of her birthday. My friend literally groaned into a pillow. "Of course, he did," she muttered. It was the most Conrad Fisher thing he could possibly do, say nothing for months and then show up unannounced on another continent. What follows is a masterclass in tension. As Conrad re-enters her orbit, we're flooded with flashbacks, quick, heart-stabbing glimpses of the carefree, braces-wearing Belly of her childhood. It's a brilliant device, reminding us, and her, of the deep, tangled history that binds them together. He even brings her a gift that had me rolling my eyes so hard I almost fell off the couch, a tiny jar of sand from Cousins Beach. It's cheesy, it's sentimental, and damn it, it's effective. He's not just giving her sand, he's giving her a piece of their shared soul, a reminder of the girl she was and the boy he's always been for her. In the end, after all the will they won't they, after the years of pining and miscommunication, Han gives the people what they, mostly, wanted, Conrad. But thank goodness, it wasn't easy. Their reunion isn't a simple, tidy epilogue. It's a messy, emotional, Bridget Jones-style mad dash through the city. It's a raw confession of love on a train, a moment so vulnerable and stripped down that you can't help but root for them. If you entered the episode as a staunch Jeremiah supporter, the sheer, devastating sadness on Conrad's face as he leaves Belly's apartment after they sleep together is enough to sway the strongest convictions. Their conversation, weaving between intimacy and the still raw grief over his mother, is a poignant reminder that their connection was forged in both joy and tragedy. They are, for better or for worse, irrevocably linked. I'll admit it, I wanted them to get together. The slow burn, the "it's always been you" of it all, is a trope for a reason. It works. The predictable comfort of coming home. The fan reaction online has been, predictably, electric. The digital confetti is flying, the victory laps are being run. Team Conrad won. But as the episode drew to a close, a small part of me felt a twinge of disappointment. In a short, quiet scene at the end, Belly is back at Cousins'. She's standing with Conrad in the garden of the beach house, the epicenter of all their joy and pain. And her bold red lipstick is gone, replaced by a muted, softer shade. It felt symbolic. While I was thrilled to see her find her happiness, I couldn't help but wish she had been able to integrate her new, cosmopolitan Isabel identity with her life back home. Did she have to shed that Parisian confidence to fall back in lockstep with a Fisher boy? It felt a little too much like a return to the status quo, a regression to the girl she used to be rather than a fusion of the woman she had become. I wanted her to have both the boy and the red lipstick. But perhaps that's the point. Part of the contract we sign when we dive into a romance is the promise of an emotional payoff. We endure the love triangles, the missed connections, and the painful misunderstandings because we crave the catharsis of the final, fated reunion. The predictable ending is the reward for the journey. It's coming home. And what about Jeremiah? If Conrad's ending was a triumphant, hard-won victory, Jeremiah's felt like a consolation prize. And honestly, it's the part of the finale that sits with me the least comfortably. While all the romantic drama unfolds in Paris, we cut back to Cousins', where Jerry has seemingly been relegated to the role of a stressed-out, irritable chef. He's running a rehearsal dinner for a big event, and everything that can go wrong, does. It feels like a painful echo of his own botched wedding, a wound that is still clearly festering. What matters worse is his newly single dad, Adam, Tom Everett Scott, who seems completely oblivious to his son's pain, repeatedly offering him champagne from his failed wedding. It's tone-deaf and cruel, and it highlights the emotional neglect Jeremiah has shouldered his entire life. While Stephen, Sean Kaufman, and Taylor, Brain Spencer, navigate their own charmingly chaotic relationship drama nearby, Jeremiah is left to stew in his own misery. And then, the show offers him a life raft in the form of Denise, Isabella Briggs, his ex-colleague and current roommate. In a baffling moment of character assessment, Denise, a sharp and ambitious woman in finance who professes to hate mediocre men, declares that the guy currently freeloading on her couch is a 10. Their pairing feels so incredibly convenient, so obviously shoehorned in to ensure that every character gets a neat, happy ending. It felt like a narrative device to make us feel less sorry for him, to soften the blow of him losing Belly. But for many on Team Jeremiah, it likely felt like a disservice. His profound love for Belly, the very thing that defined his arc for 3 seasons, was resolved with a shrug and a new roommate-turned-girlfriend. He deserved a more thoughtful, nuanced conclusion to his journey. Why we couldn't look away. There's no denying the cultural footprint this show has left. In just the first week after the Season 3 premiere, a staggering 25 million people tuned in worldwide. This wasn't just a show, it was an event. People hosted watch parties, transforming their living rooms and local pubs into screaming, crying, debating arenas. The online discourse has been ferocious, with viewers becoming so deeply invested in the fictional choices of these characters that it sometimes tipped into genuine toxicity. From a storytelling perspective, it's easy to see why. Seasons 1 and 2 simmered with the tension of the love triangle, an undercurrent of longing and confusion. But Season 3 threw us directly into the rapids. The conflict was front and center, forcing us to choose a side, to plant our flag, to defend our boy. The show's demographic is famously dominated by millennial and Gen Z women, but the why is a little more complex than just a simple love story. Everyone has a theory. It's pure escapism, A sun-drenched fantasy of idyllic summers, waterfront properties, and debutante balls that feels a million miles away from our real lives. It's the setting, shot in the same North Carolina locations as iconic teen dramas like Dawson's Creek and One Tree Hill. It's literally built on the soil of our adolescent nostalgia. There's the soundtrack. My God, the soundtrack. The needle drops in this show are an emotional weapon. When Bon Iver's Skinny Love began to play, I was instantly transported back to 2007, to my own teenage bedroom, feeling feelings that were too big for my body, just like Belly. The carefully curated playlist of Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, and indie darlings isn't just background music, it's the show's second beating heart, articulating every unspoken emotion. Ultimately, I think the show's power lies in its ability to tap into a universal, almost sacred memory, the intensity of your first love. It reminds us of a time when a summer felt like a lifetime, when a single touch could change the trajectory of your entire world, and when your heart felt like it could literally break from the sheer force of its own feeling. We watch Belly because, in some small way, we all were Belly. When the final credits rolled and the screen went black, my friend turned to the room and asked the question we were all thinking: what do we do now? It felt like the end of an era. The adolescent summers of our collective imagination were over. The last page had been turned. It was time to grow up, to quit pretending we were teenage girls agonizing over boys on a dock. There are emails to write. There are bills to pay. There is a feature film? Just as we were resigning ourselves to reality, Jenny Han's final letter to the viewers appeared on screen, a little breadcrumb of hope: maybe we'll meet again one summer in Cousins. For me, this ending felt like enough. It was messy and beautiful and imperfect, just like love itself. It gave me the catharsis I craved, even if it left a few loose threads. But will I clear my schedule, buy the popcorn, and dust off my metaphorical spaghetti straps to see the movie? Of course, I will. We all will. See you next summer.